Hey guys, Brian Zaremski here. I'm with
Captain Ron Rhodes.
we just got back late last night from stop number 2, National Walleye Tour, Chamberlain, South Dakota. We were there for a week. Great trip, great place to go and fish. We stayed at the Arrowhead Resort, wonderful place to stay. We had our slip there, there's a marina there, a bait dock, fuel dock, ramp. Great place to fish. Weather, a couple days was kind of shaky. It was all of our first times there, so Ron's never been there, I've never been there, Ollie's not been there, and Jack's not been there.
No,
So-
Jack's been there.
Jack
been there.
Jack was there last year. So pre-fishing for us was actually really good. I know going into day 1, I was telling some people, I don't know if I've ever been more confident for a tournament the day before going in with the fish we're catching on pre-fish. So we spent a lot of time up and down the river. We had 4 boats, up Crows Creek, that area, mid-river, guys that know it down White River, Carpenter's Point, the Willows. We did not fish Platte at all.
Nope.
We decided that, our first time being there, we weren't going to make that 70-mile run one way, have to refuel, come back. Just too risky for us the first time there, so we kind of, wanted to play a little safer. So we did a couple things while we were there. Our best, what we did on tournament day, and Jack actually found this bite and figured it out, it was a little bit south of Crow Creek. We were actually pulling bottom bouncers with live bait as well as some Berkeley minnows. So really that's all we had. We had a Gamakatsu afloat, a little hook on about a 3-foot leader, 2-ounce bottom bouncers, and then we were running Berkeley, the watermelon minnows.
And you'd get sometimes 4 or 5, maybe even 6 fish off one over a regular live bait.
So we would put that out there. We didn't catch fish after a while. We dropped it back in the pack, let it recharge, put another one out, put it back out. So we're running that as well as just live bait, fathead minnows in there. So that's what we're running tournament day. On my boat on the Hughes here, I actually ran a 7-foot, one of my casting rods, the bottom bouncer. Then I actually ran my Denali here, my 8.6. So I ran the 8.6 off the side, and then I ran the spinning reel straight off the back to kind of get a little bit of separation. So tournament day, the day before the tournament, Jack was in there, and we were actually catching. My plan day 1 was going to go where I'll call where Jack was. It was the little south of Crows Creek, kind of a flat, comes down, 16, 18 feet, some contours, and then back up to 30. So he kind of figured out you had to run it east and west instead of north and south because you're kind of coming up and down the contours, and that's when the fish would hit. So pre-fishing the day before, I think we were catching 17.5 to 19.5 pre-spawns. Those fish were going 2.5 to 4 pounds, depending how packed they were. So my plan was day 1, I was going to go there, get my unders, because you're only allowed 2 fish over 20, and Ron will talk about that in a little bit. So my plan was to go there, get my, what I'll call my 5 unders there. There's also a chance to get bigger fish, and I'll gather catch some bigger fish in there. And I was going to run down to Carpenter's Point, which is south kind of by the White River. Pre-fishing there, I was pulling fish over 20 inches every day, some 22, some 23s, and I was pulling both lead core and the live bait rigs in there. For me, on the lead core, hands down, two of my best baits. One, Walleye diver, Fire Tiger. I don't think a lot of guys run these there. We ran these on Devil's Lake, and I caught fish, so this was actually really good. And then 2, Walleye Nation's Creations, this shaky shad. So this bait was really hot pre-fish. Caught a couple of fish on it during the tournament, but that was Walleye Nation's Creations, shaky shad. It's called, I think,
Red crawl, like a red crawl type.
Yeah, so that was
everywhere.
Yeah, so that's we think that's going to be done in the Mississippi River coming up. But day 1 could not get. We think those fish moved. The pre-spawn fish they either moved out or they just didn't want to bite. Couldn't catch any pre-spawns at all. My plan went right out the window. 1 o'clock, I just started boxing fish because you got to come in with 5. So day 1 came in, I think with 8 pounds. Leaders were 17 guys that ran way south. So day 2, I was gonna do the exact same thing. We seen some bigger fish getting caught where the spawning fish were still there, so the pre-spawns were still in there. So we had Ollie and Jack had a couple over 20s. I couldn't get any that day, so day 2 had about the same bag. Learned a lot. I really liked fishing there. Very scenic. I've said this a couple times. It's an easy place to fish. So you can troll, you can jig, whatever you want to do. You know, there are a lot of stumps in the river, so you got to make sure you don't run into the stumps. A couple of my co-anglers I enjoy fishing with. You know, the first tournament in Detroit, I was really nervous to having a co-angler in the books. I'm not used to fishing with somebody I don't really know in a tournament. But this one I was really comfortable. Day one I had a woman from Twin Cities, a retired school teacher, Kay Holden. It was her very first National Walleye Tour, and I really enjoyed fishing with her. Hardcore fisherman, enjoyed that. She's going to come fish with us. Prairie Du Chien, because she's doing that one. And then day two, I actually had a kid, I'll call a junior in high school from Montana. His dad was fishing, so he fished with me day two. You know, he might be going to Montana State on a football scholarship, so we talked about sports all day. You know, I've talked about our kids' sports, but overall, besides our finish and some of the weather, it was a great trip. I think I ended up finishing about 100th, which is not where we wanted to finish, but we, you know, we're still kind of in the hunt for Team of the Year. We got kind of about a month to regroup before we go to Prairie Du Chien, and so that was kind of my pre-fish, and I'll let Ronnie kind of talk about what he did during the tournament.
Well, besides, when they get wind out there, they get wind out there, and that was horrible. We had a lot of mud coming through, changed our game plan, and this was the best game plan we had, to be honest with you. I did the same thing. We all were right up next to each other. We waved, talk, and say hello to everybody. And then when I was pulling my lead core, these were two hot colors, and then the other one with the all white with the slick purple, I'd call it, was just absolutely dynamite for me. It caught mostly all my overs. And then the other thing I was playing around with, and I wish the weather was better, I was running my little mini offshore boards. And they absolutely, I would put it right up on the shoreline, so I could put all 4 boards up on the shoreline and turn around, flip them around to the other side, and I could use them. So you could use them from either side. So I felt that this was a really good tool to see if I could get those fish going up on the shoreline. I caught fish, I just didn't catch the fish I needed to do it. Did the same thing, the gulp was incredible. 238 was flawless in the big waves. I mean, it came down. We had a lot of water and a lot of wind. So looking forward to the next one. I know overall in points, I'm in 51st, and our teammates are just not far behind. So we have a really good chance to keep it going for the championship. And that's our goal in the whole thing at the end of the year. We all want to try to make the championship up in Dunkirk, New York. So kind of that's about what I got. We just worked really good as a team and really had a good time. And also want to remind, you know, we're going to be getting ready here to start taking some officers out for fishing. I'm going to be doing them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll be getting more of that information out. And if you're looking to donate and help the officers, go with Angling with Officers and do what you can to help them out.
Yeah, so we got our sign-up sheets out for Angling with Officers now. Cleveland, Sheffield Lake, Avon Lake, Lorraine. So if you're watching, if you know any police officers in those departments, maybe mention it to them. We haven't got a lot of sign-ups yet. I don't know if they push it out yet, but we've got to make some phone calls this week. I'm going to be doing the same thing as Ronnie. We plan to do Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening, like a 5 to 9 trip. You know, the nice thing is we got all of the fish we need right here, so guys won't have to travel. We figured we would do the weekday trips because, you know, on Lake Erie, a lot of times you can't get out, so we can maybe reschedule on the weekends if we needed. So that's kind of our game plan for that. And like Ronnie said, we had a good time. Great place to fish. Got along great. Had a lot of fun. Just not you know, I was disappointed. You know, when you come in day one, when you think you're going to have at least 12 to 13 pounds with a chance at 15 to 17, and you got 7 or 8. And you know, the other thing too that I really think we had a lot to think about was this was a call tournament, and state regulations, you're only allowed 2 fish over 20 inches. Over 20 inches. So once you put those 2 fish over 20 inches in your box, it's a no culling tournament. And once you had 8 fish in your box, well, you're done for the day. So I know Ollie and both Ronnie, day one they're tossing back 16s and 17s, thinking they're going to get the 18 to 19s, the heavier fish.
With 4 fish day one,
and
but that's tournament fishing and not used to it. I mean, cut you off, but
come out here on Erie, we're just sorting fish all day. You put the first 5 in the box and then you keep upgrading. So I know, like for me, I was tossing fish back day one, and 1 o'clock I had 1 fish in the box. So I was like, we just got to put anything over 15 in there. So at that point, you're just trying to save face and come in with 5.
Made that long run, and they come with 1 fish or nothing. So it's a game, and it's what we like to do. And it was a learning experience. And I tell you what, if we ever go back there again, I think there's some things that we could do differently and change and try I think snap weights would be really good in that system too. I think it would give the bait a whole different action. So if we go back there, we'll make another 17-hour run and we'll give her a try. So had a great time, enjoyed fishing with everybody. Beautiful place, mule deer, turkey, it was gorgeous. So I'll go back. But on to the third one, right?
Yep, so now we got back here fishing on Lake Erie for a little bit, and then, like I said, looking forward to the next one, and guys, appreciate you watching.
Yep, have a good day.